I know if you're watching this video, you already know that developing your intuition is probably the single most important thing you can do for your long-term success, especially with money. But how do we get there from here? What I want to talk about today is the step-by-step process by which we develop our intuition. And it all starts with finding the right teacher and process. Because let's face it, there's hundreds, maybe thousands of different intuition teachers and techniques and processes that are out there. How do you find the right one? What's the right one for you? That's what I want to give you. This video is chock full of what I think you'll find to be life-changing tips and insights about how to develop your intuition to the highest level possible. I am Brent Michael Phillips, founder of Wakened in Dynamics, and I am here to help ignite your intuition. Specifically, in this video, I'm going to help you to find the right intuitive teacher or process to develop your skills to the highest level possible. So what's the first tip? The first tip is you're using a system even if you don't realize it. Here's how I think about this. When I look at all my students and clients that I've been working with for 20-some years now, they really fall into two categories. There are a small number of people that come to me that already have a great intuitive gift or talent. They've been seeing angels on their bed when they were a little child, right? Their family dog talks to them, or they see their grandpa, whatever it may be. So there's some people that have a natural talent for intuitive work, and that's great. There's another group of people, the larger group, which includes me, that did not have talent. No matter what group you're in, it's really important that you understand you're always using the process, even if you don't think you are. It's like the Rush song, Free Will. Even if you choose not to decide, you still have no choice. And here's the meat of it. If you're a natural talent, that's awesome. I hope you develop your talent. But understand that most of the intuition teachers out there, what they're teaching and practicing is based on their natural talent. The trouble with that is if you don't have the same talent, you're going to have a hell of a time learning from them, aren't you? Of course you will. Second problem is if you're that natural talent and you have not had a good teacher, there's a whole long list of mistakes you're going to make with your intuition that a teacher could steer you away from. One of the cool things I learned at MIT was this. In life, we have a choice. We can learn from our own mistakes, or we can learn from someone else's. And if you choose to make your own mistakes, you can do that, but you're going to have to pay the price, right? So if you are an intuitive talent, just know there's a whole lot of mistakes that are very easy to make with intuition. In particular, taking on other people's energy, which can make you sick, even shorten your life. And I'll talk more about that later in this video. But just know, even if you're a natural talent, find a teacher, learn what they have to teach. It'll be your shortcut. You'll avoid so much pain, it'll shave years off your learning curve. Now, on the other hand, if you're like me, if you do not have a natural talent for intuitive work, if it's something you've had to work at, great. Obviously, you need to find a good teacher too. The next tip is this. Once you found the teacher, the process you think you want to use, ask, does it help facilitate a Theta brainwave? Now, that's a little bit of a technical thing, but here's the long story short. I spent over 10 years on a journey going around the world, finding the master healers, the psychics, the shamans, the mystics, the intuitives, and working with them. And I reverse engineered the masters. I figured out what it is they were doing. One of the pieces, the high level of intuitive skills, is developing the ability to get to a waking Theta brainwave. And this is important because the Theta wave is a very slow brainwave, 4 to 7 cycles per second. And we normally go to Theta only when we're asleep and dreaming at night. So if you want to develop high-level intuitive skills, you have to get your brain to learn to go into that deep Theta state when you're awake and have conscious control of your mind. That's not easy. And if you look at the research done on paranormal phenomena, including things like remote viewing, they all correlate strongly to a Theta brainwave. So if you have a way to facilitate getting to a Theta state, that will absolutely make it easier for you to learn intuition. Because if your brain can't go to Theta when you're awake, you're just never going to be very good. There's only so far you can go. And the good news is I have a lot of trainings and tools and processes designed to help you with exactly that. In particular, I've created a brainwave entrainment program specifically to show your brain how to hold a theta state when you're awake. It's called the Deep Theta Meditation. And I'd love to give it to you. All you have to do is check below in the comments. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, right? You don't want to miss out. We've got lots more videos in the series. And you'll see a link on top that's a coupon for my VIP club. It's my members program. I'll give you a 30-day coupon. You can go in and you're going to get a whole lot of cool stuff immediately. Just one of the things you're going to get is the Deep Theta Meditation audio. It's a binaural beat audio designed to take your brain into the deep theta state when you're awake. It's a beautiful training tool. So whatever teacher or system you like, make sure there's some part of it that helps you to develop the theta state. Because again, if you can't hold the theta state when you're awake and conscious, you're limiting yourself. You can only go so far with intuition. My Deep Theta Meditation will give you the tool, even if I'm not your teacher. I'm not the right choice for everybody. I get that. It will help you to develop that a bit. Now, I also want to give you a couple tips on how to know if you're not getting the theta. So one, if you're struggling to read the future or get clear guidance, you're probably not in theta. If you have never experienced an instant healing, you're probably not in theta. If you have difficulty getting beyond the four-dimensional bubble of biology, to see beyond what's right in front of us, you're probably not in theta. Once you're able to get to the theta state, which you can measure with what's called an EEG, an electroencephalogram, it's a machine you put on your head. That opens the door to the higher dimensions. One of the things I'll say a lot in my intensive trainings is the theta state is a magical key that unlocks the power of the subconscious. So your intuition is powered by your subconscious. And if you can get yourself into a waking theta state, you can go so much further, so much faster. Oh my gosh, try it, see for yourself. It's amazing. So what's our next tip to learn intuition, to find the right teacher? Well, whatever system, teacher, process you're using, it's critical that you learn how to get out of your own energy, out of your own paradigm, and connect through the divine. And I know that sounds a little esoteric. And if you're brand new to this, it's okay, right? I thought this was a bunch of kooky hippie stuff too when I was first introduced to it. But this is life-changing. There really is science and math here. We just need to look for it. And that's my job, right? I'm the MIT engineer who experienced a miracle and became a healer. And I want to be your tour guide here. So here's what happens, is many people who are natural healers, natural intuitives, what they don't realize is they're powering that process with their own personal energy, which is a terrible idea. Imagine if every time you wanted to watch TV, you had to plug it into your head and it would suck out your energy to power the TV. Bad, right? That's what happens when you don't know how to connect to the divine energy. You will unknowingly and unconsciously drain yourself. It would be, for example, imagine your neighbor's car is out of gas and you want to put gas in the car. Well, one thing you could do is you could siphon gas from your tank and put it in your neighbor's car. That'll work, but then you have no gas, right? Right. That's what a lot of untrained healers do. That's what a lot of untrained intuitives do. No one's fault. They just didn't know any better, right? So if you are using your own energy to power the healings, you're going to notice a couple things. First of all, you're going to be very limited in how many sessions you can do. You might do 1 or 2 hours of readings and you'll be wiped out. This happened to me when I was first learning it. I would do 2 or 3 hours of sessions and readings. I would be so tired I could barely sit up on the couch. And I was in my 30s and otherwise pretty healthy, right? So it will annihilate your energy. You'll feel like crap. You'll have headaches. You'll have aches and pains. Again, if you use your own energy. If you know how to connect to the divine source for your guidance and healing, it will not drain you. There'll be a little bit, but it's very manageable. So again, whatever system, process, teacher you're using is great. On that note, I want you to know this is not just about healing and intuitive readings. People draining your energy is a very real thing that happens every day. It happens at work. It happens at home. It happens with your friends. It happens when you go to the store. So no matter what it is you do, even if you have no interest in being a professional healer or psychic, like what I do, I think you'll find your life goes a lot smoother if you learn how to not drain your own energy. Whatever system or teacher you're working with, there has to be some mechanism by which you can connect and also disconnect from those you're reading. And this is really important. Because again, this is one of the common mistakes made by untrained intuitives. They don't realize how they're connecting or disconnecting from others. And here's the problem. When you're connected to someone, that's required to get a good reading. How can I read you without being connected to you, right? It's like, how can your computer guy fix your computer without getting to the computer? You can't, right? So there has to be some connection. But if you don't know how to formally establish and break down the connection, here's what will happen. You'll do a reading on someone at 9 a.m, and you will unknowingly stay connected with them all day. Now, it will usually naturally disconnect when you sleep at night, but you're going to spend the entire day connected with that person. If they have an ache or a pain or a negative thought, you'll experience that too. And if you're a professional like I am, you may work with 5 or 6 or 8 people that day. You're connected to 8 people by the evening. Oh God, right? It's going to be a freaking nightmare. You're going to get eight people's worth of headaches, 8 people's worth of fatigues, 8 people's worth of back pain, right? Terrible thing. And notice, if you don't know how to connect and disconnect, this is one of the common mistakes I talked about. You'll be connecting to people and staying connected all day and most of the night. It's even weirder if you work with animals. You may do a reading on your neighbor's dog Fido, and later in the day, you're looking at a raw steak and thinking about eating it, right? This is the kind of weird stuff that happens. So again, whatever teacher process you like is great. Just make sure there's some formal method by which you can both connect and disconnect from those you're reading. Otherwise, you're going to be carrying everyone around all day. And I know you really don't want that. And so to tie it all together, there's a whole bunch of things you can do to radically accelerate your intuitive progress. I also want to highlight what happens if you don't. If you do not find a good teacher or guide, there's a saying from Rumi, the poet, who said, without a guide, a journey of 3 weeks will take 100 years. And trust me, this is like that. If you don't find the right teacher, the right process, you will be wandering the desert for a very long time trying to develop your intuitive skill. And if you don't know how to connect to the divine energy, if you don't know how to connect and disconnect from people, if you don't know how to get to a Theta brainwave, here's what's going to happen. First, you're going to get run down. You will feel like crap at the end of the day. You'll be tired. It will be hard to move. Food won't taste good. It's almost like you had the flu all the time. Then you'll develop health problems. And if you keep at it, keep pushing it, it can even kill you. A good historical example would be Edgar Cayce, one of the best known psychics in history. He had an incredible talent. He had this amazing ability to read people. Also notice that when he read people, he went into what he called a twilight state, where he was half awake and half asleep. That's the Theta state. That's it. So we know he was accessing Theta. But here's the thing about Edgar Cayce. He knew intuitively he should not work on more than 2 people a day. Why? He was taking on their energy, right? He was depleting himself. He didn't have the proper formal training. He knew he should not work on more than 2 people a day. But he had such a big heart. He really, really wanted to make a difference. He really wanted to help people. So he would push himself and do as many as 5 or 6 readings a day. And it made him sick. And it shortened his life. So I don't want that to happen to you. So no matter who your teacher is, no matter what system or process you prefer, I know you're going to love this material. So many gold nuggets and gems in this series that will absolutely help you to expand your mind, sharpen your intuition, and change your life. And I hope to see you again very soon on the other side. Until then, take care and namaste.